I'm not responsible for your personal life relationship. This may not be what you wanted to hear or they wanted to hear, but here's the info. Having a YouTube channel definitely puts me in a unique position where a lot of people will send emails or have questions and ask me things, and honestly, I don't know the answer to a lot of those questions, but I still appreciate them. Today's video comes from a viewer in the form of an emailed question they sent me asking, did I do any research before buying all of my printers and getting into the print farm business that you see behind me, as far as which is cheaper, buying your own printer, all the stuff to go with it, spending the time to learn everything and do it that way, or just outsourcing it to one of these various 3D printing companies you see on the internet. So in today's video, let's do a little research. Let's figure it out. Let's see which one is cheaper. All right, guys, I think what's going to be the easiest thing to do for this presentation is just screen record here on my computer and show you guys some numbers. So the first thing I want to do is let's go ahead and find out the price of a current Bambu Lab printer. In my case, I predominantly use the A1 combo. So we'll go ahead and hop over into Bambu Lab's website, and we've got one in the cart, plus 4 rolls of filament. That way our AMS light is at least full to begin with. Here, looking at the price, we can see that currently the A1 combo is at $489. This is their more default price, although given the time of year, when you watch this from the future, this price will probably change. But for today, if I was buying it right now, $489 for the printer, $40 for 2 rolls of blue, $40 for 2 rolls of green. Now, one thing to note, when you buy a printer, you also have to pay for shipping, which is $25. So what I've done, while we have our total here at $548.96, this has not been calculated for taxes, which I'm not going to show on here because I have to punch in my address. And let's face it, I got a small shop. I can't fit you guys here all at the same time. But let's go ahead and say, for this example, that it's going to cost us $600 to get the printer plus the filament. So that is our printer cost. Our DIY printing, $600. The next thing I've done off camera already has been to search Google for the 3D printing services that are out there and pick like the top 5 or 6. I did not pick them for any other reason other than these were the top ones listed that were not sponsored or Google ad listings. I tried to use what are organic search results for me and went with that. So I am in no way affiliated with any of these sites. I have no pros or cons against the sites personally. They're just the ones that showed up in my search results. What I've also done off camera was to take a test model. So I'll go ahead and pull that up so you guys can see it. This is Tinkercad. It is the online CAD software I use for most of my designs. So it is free, and it's something, goodness, I've used for 12 to 13 years and just am a creature of habit. Anyway, this is the test model that I created in Tinkercad and that I uploaded to all of these 3D print service websites. What I have here happens to be a model that is somewhat similar to what I usually print, and that is a laser engraving jig. This is one of the items that I sell, and I decided to go ahead and send them something that was as close to reality as possible to something I'm already printing here in my shop myself, and also give them an example while not giving them my true product, because then they would have my intellectual property. But that's a subject we'll touch on here a little bit later in the video. So all the companies got this model, and from here we then jumped over to get pricing. So let's go ahead and let you guys see the companies that I went with. Again, just from Google search results, we have Xometry, Shapeways, Make My Stuff, JLC 3DP, PCBWay, iMaterialize, and Craft Cloud. Some of these I had heard from before. Others were brand new to me. So once I had my models uploaded, I then went through as far as I could to getting my price right before the checkout portion to get you guys a total cost. So starting with Xometry, it's the first one I did. I uploaded my model, we can see it right here, and the cheapest material, the slowest turnaround, that was my goal. How cheap can we get from Xometry is $182.25 for one print, one model. I could not specify color. You can see here that I just chose the next available color. Didn't even care about that. Tried to get as cheap as possible. And this one is printing in ABS or ASA. So Xometry, $182. Honestly, that was some sticker shock for me. Moving down the line, we then went to Shapeways. Same kind of thing, uploaded the model, chose their cheapest material, which happened to be nylon PA12, plain white, and they were still $119.82. Again, for one model. Moving on past Shapeways, we go to Make My Stuff, which came in at $46.33 for a PLA model. So a little bit different material and a lower cost there for sure. After them was JLC 3DP. We have PLA with them as well, and their price was $44.59. Now notice some of these include shipping, some of them don't. So in this example, JLC 3DP, it shows a shipping estimate of $25. So shipping's going to vary, and so the prices I'm quoting are just the object, not the cost to get it here to my door. So take it for what it's worth. This is not a science research for sure. Next up was PCBWay, which I've seen a lot of other YouTubers do ads for them, so I had heard of them at least. And after punching in all my stuff with them, $40.51. So not the cheapest, but not the most expensive either. After them was a website I had never heard of, i.materialize. Like I said, these came up in Google search results. This one is interesting because it is not an FDM print job. It is not filament based. This one, I want to say is a resin print, but I'm not sure. I'm not an expert on that kind of stuff. So this is a polyamide-S material, and it came in at $131.68. So whatever that is, that's fancy stuff, I guess, which is honestly more fancy than what I needed for this model. Last up on our list is Craft Cloud, which this one was on Google, but then a separate search I did, Reddit pointed to this one a lot as well. Take it for what it's worth. Again, not sponsored. This company, same model, same parameters. They were going to print mine in PLA. They did have a color option when most of the others didn't seem to have many options. Craft Cloud did have a couple, and their price was $21.32. Probably the cheapest, I think. Actually, let's jump into that table. All right, so we've went through the 3D print companies. I've shown you the screenshots, and if you're like me, you're probably struggling to remember the numbers I just said. That's okay. I created a doc for it. So we scroll on down and we see our 3D print services. Xometry, ABS material, 182. Shapeways, nylon, 119. Make My Stuff, 46. All of you guys can see it here, right? So this is not grouped or sorted by the lowest price to the highest price. This is still in that sort order by Google search ranking or results for me. Here we can see that Craft Cloud was the cheapest. It is our cheapest option. It is basic PLA. And then our most expensive option is Xometry. But again, that's an ABS or ASA, so it's a different material. So taking our prices from our companies that we could outsource our jobs to, and then taking the price of our Bamboo Lab, around 600 bucks, I then created this chart, which is basically how many jobs do I need to run until I have already spent what I could have purchased my printer for. In that case, we're able to see Xometry 4, Shapeways 5, Make My Stuff 13, JLC 3DP 14, PCBWay 15, iMaterialize 5, and Craft Cloud 28. Unless you are only looking for just a one-off thing and nothing that is going to need to be printed again, and you are an amazing 3D modeler, obviously you're going to run through this so fast. At least I do. I know whenever I create prototypes for new products, it is not uncommon for me to go through probably at least 10 physical prototypes, because I always tweak and dial stuff in. Things are different when they come into reality, and then you just kind of get preferences as you go through things. I'm pretty picky about what I print and sell, so that's possibly just a Sam thing, but it is a real thing for me. All right, so that's enough computer time, right? So looking at that, it would, probably be a no-brainer, right? That it is cheaper to get your own printer, unless you only want one thing. If you have any goal of printing more than, what was the lowest, 28? Was that what the Craft Cloud was? Yeah, see, memory's pretty good here. If you've got any idea of printing more than that many number of objects, you're immediately going to be cheaper by buying yourself a printer. Now, of course, there are learning curves to 3D printing. If you've never done anything with it, you're going to have to spend your personal time doing education, learn it, practice it, work through issues, all that kind of stuff. You'll need a space to set it up. You'll need the electricity to run it. It'll need to be a heated or cooled space if you live in extreme climates and stuff like that. So of course there are costs that go beyond just the printer you buy from the website. So there is at least that to consider. Now at the same token, if you're doing 3D printing and you are creating your own models or a custom product, and it is something you've done, there's something to be said about retaining your own intellectual property. So one of the other big things to consider that I myself do definitely consider and am a little bit of a stickler about is that my designs, my files, because I model all of them myself, they stay in-house. I don't sell 3D print files, not for any of my business products. And so therefore, I would not want to upload files to a 3D print service because you are giving someone else access to your IP or intellectual property. Now real quick, because I know someone's already been typing this one and I want to stop you, although I probably won't get you, or you'll still say it. Yes, when you send your print files to your printers through Wi-Fi, it does go through Bamboo's servers, so you're giving it away already. For the sake of this section, let's just go with the trust factor that Bamboo is not that interested in our files, that someone's out there sitting through and combing through them to see what cool things are being printed to steal ideas. Because I couldn't tell you the number of thousands of files I send, probably in a month, and when I'm prototyping, boy, they sure get some junkers if they're sifting through my stuff. So for the sake of the argument, let's say that this setup here in my shop is secure. No one's getting my files. Actually, if you want to be that much of a stickler, you can enable LAN mode with Bamboo Lab printers and keep it completely off Wi-Fi and keep it in-house. So this is going to be a moot point. The printers we consider completely in-house. On the other hand, when you send your models to a 3D printing service, you're literally sending your file to the 3D print service for them to load it, slice it, and print it. They have it. Now, of course, there is a level of trust that's involved, right? So that is why you would want to choose a reputable supplier. You would not necessarily want to just choose some random person off of Reddit, the internet, or wherever, if what you want to be printed is something that you want to retain ownership of. It's all got to be considerations you take depending upon what it is you're printing. All right, I think that hammers the security IP aspect of it. Maybe it's not a concern for most people out there, but for me as a business owner who models and creates my own files, I don't want to give my stuff away. It's one of the reasons I don't sell any of these 3D print files, even though so many people still ask. Even though it's all over my contact areas, it's okay. It's one of the reasons I don't do it, because this is things that I've worked so many hours to develop and create. I've gone through prototypes and hours of testing that there's probably not a price for the object, because they are components of my business and I'm in this for the long term. I'm not here to just have giggles for a couple of months and give the business away. All right, there's enough of that. For this next segment, I've decided to bring you back to the desk, and I'm going to show you a real life application for a ChatGPT or AI search result model that, well, I think I might be sad to say I've recently started using that has become really beneficial. So we're going to jump over here. This is ChatGPT. So what I've done is typed in the simple message: the benefits of 3D printing yourself in-house versus using an online 3D print service / company. The way I'm using ChatGPT in this instance is as a super Google searcher for me, right? It can comb through the internet and it can summarize, condense, and bulletize information for me. I found this is really, really cool to learn about new things, to get specific answers, and to get it in a fast manner so I'm not left scrolling, and probably worst of all, visiting a website and getting blasted with ads, right? Ain't nobody got time for that. So I'm going to set my page to slow scroll, and you can just kind of see it. It goes through the benefits of in-house 3D printing, its cost savings for frequent printing, right? What we said earlier, you know, if you're doing only one, yeah, it's cheap. It's not cheaper than a printer, but if you're doing more than one, your printer gets paid off pretty quickly. The speed and convenience, that's definitely a point that I didn't think I talked about. Most of these places, you're looking at a week turnaround until it ships, and then how long is it going to take it to get to you from shipping? Could be a while. In-house, when the little jingle plays on the printer and it's done, you just got to wait for it to cool off. and then you're done. Full creative control. I definitely like that one, and that's great for me because as I do prototypes and I want to change this and that and that and this, I can do it, as opposed to paying the company over and over and over to make those little changes, but also wait to get it back in house in my hands and see, blah, it's no good. Confidentiality, yep, we talked about that one. Skill building and expertise, they put this as a benefit. It could be a drawback depending on what you're really looking to do. On-demand production, that one is really good. So outside of business uses for 3D printers, just normal everyday uses, 3D printers have come a long way to do that. An example of a problem to solve is, I have a Honda Element as a vehicle, and they have a weird shaped door. It's just like a giant void unless you want to store poster boards. Well, scrolling through some online print websites like Maker World, someone had designed a special little pocket to drop in there and solve the problem with that and give you a place to store your phone, wallet, and stuff like that. Well, it was as quick as click, click. It was licensed for personal use, no problem. I printed it out and I was done. That's awesome. That was a non-business use of a device for a real world need it. Here's a solution. Go on with your quality of life. And that's what's cool. And then rounding out the list, custom material options that, you know, you pick whatever you want, whatever colors you want. And lastly, cost transparency. Although that one may not really mean cost transparency between spouses and partners because, well, that one's up to you. Depends on your honor system, I guess. All right, so benefits of using an online 3D print service. No upfront costs, right? We don't have to buy this. I don't have to have a structure for my printer. Power, none of that. We can just click, click, done. We have access to high-end technology. So if we remember, one of the providers was a resin print. I don't have that here. No way. I don't have machines like that. So there are high-quality materials and machines you could have. Some of these other sites that I looked at give you the option for metal and other types of printing. Really cool stuff. Bullet 3 is professional quality, right? If this company's out there doing it professionally, you're going to get the best results. So awesome there, right? No junk results necessarily. Put the chain of blame on them, right? You're the paying customer, you want a great result. Wide material options is also there. Time savings for larger complex prints. I don't know about that one. Maybe. I mean, I guess so, right? If it's, I want 1,000 of these, yeah, that would save time. All right, yeah, we're still good. No maintenance or repairs. That is so true. Although these printers, knock on wood, have been very reliable and required very minimal maintenance. Scalability, yeah, okay, I'll give ChatGPT that one, although how scalable is your wallet on that front? Reduced space requirements, again, that's tying into no shop needed. And then post-processing services, that's, I mean, I don't really do any post-processing with the things I do, but there are things you can do out there for sure. All right, and then lastly there, ChatGPT just tells us which to choose. So, has Sam yacked about this long enough? Probably so. Hopefully you found this video helpful, maybe encouraging, entertaining. Hopefully the person who asked me this in the email, I'm not responsible for your personal life relationship. This may not be what you wanted to hear or they wanted to hear, but here's the info. I am definitely a fan of do-it-yourself, whether it be 3D printing, laser engraving, or even building the workshop. I built this entire workshop myself last year. If you're interested, there's a whole video list on my channel. So you're asking a DIY guy, should I buy it or should I pay someone to do it? I'm going to tell you to buy it all the time. But there's the bullet points. There's what ChatGPT gave us. And there's some price comparisons for those professional services out there. If you got questions or comments, definitely leave them for me down below. If you have any personal experience with using any of these companies or some kind of service, definitely leave it down below as well. I am just one person yakking at you in your face on screen, but in the comment section are a group of people. And there's always some really cool stuff to read down there. So check it out. Otherwise, thanks for hanging out with me in the shop and listening to me ramble. If you got any questions, like this person's email was, fire it off. You never know. It might be the next ramble session for Sam. Otherwise, thanks for watching and take care.